All right, there we go. A seamless transition of sorts.
Of sorts. Yeah. So good afternoon, good morning, whatever time you're listening to this, and I hope you have had a great week and a great President's Day. Kind of interesting that we still celebrate that.
I know.
Oh, we do.
Like, like most of us, we worked that day.
Most of us did, and most of us will. We had to be reminded that our postman didn't bring us an email. Oh, it's President's Day. Oh, we tried to go to the bank because it was Monday and we needed to either deposit or get some cash or pay something or do. Oh, wait, the bank is closed. Otherwise, it's a normal day for the rest of the world.
When I started my family, I, I tried to work it, and I think it was just by chance that I the birth of my sons were right around the holiday, and my oldest, his birthday was is at the end of August, and that was right around Labor Day at the time, or at least a week away. So it was kind of like an extended weekend, holiday weekend, birthday weekend for him. And then for my middle son, his birthday is right around Valentine's Day. So that was kind of special. And, it's close to President's Day. So had that time off at the time. And then my youngest, his birthday is, if I remember correctly, it's the day after or the day of St. Patrick's Day or around that time. And I'm thinking, hey, that's perfect. You got the, St. Patrick's Day, you got the, NCAA men's basketball tournament. That's a great time to celebrate. So
You're giving away that you're from Chicago, where St. Patrick's Day has a meaning, like in part of Boston. The rest of the country is, well, good excuse to drink, but you know,
oh, Jimmy,
not as good.
some of my best spring days were around or on St. Patrick's Day in Chicago, and it was a time. At one point, I would just take the week off from work, watch the tournament, have several beers, and lots of chicken wings and pizza, and just enjoy myself.
Yeah,
Those were the days.
those were the days when we were young and foolish.
Indeed. Oh, mercy. But so we're back
Yeah.
at it. And one of the things that's happening, that's always been happening, is homelessness has been on the top of people's agendas, constituents, and the electeds also. And tonight they're here in Orlando, Samaritan Center, and Commissioner Kelly Simrad uh, are having a joint town hall meeting at a church off of Dean Street, for those of you who are familiar with Orlando. And the topic is homelessness. And as you and I were talking offline here, the opportunity to either one, just hear pretty much more of the same, or maybe, just maybe, keep our fingers crossed, there'll be an enlightened moment where maybe Orlando or Orange County can get closer and closer to a solution for its homelessness problem. And we were talking about the deal between Orange County government and Orlando City government agreeing to take the old receiving center for returned citizens, for alleged felons, criminals. I'm not too sure. Intake for those accused of crimes. Let's put it that way. The old reception center on Cayley Street, and convert that into a 300 bed shelter. It's met some that's what I'm looking for. It's met some resistance from neighbors, despite the fact that it was a receiving center for those who have been accused of crimes. So, with all this going on, Jimmy, you think that something positive is going to come out of this meeting tonight?
Hopefully, yes. Look, we have a homeless problem. We could say we don't want it in my backyard, like Soho does. And I understand you don't want homeless people in your backyard, and you don't want it to replace. And by the way, it's not people who have been accused.
Right.
It was a work release center that if you were
Yeah.
coming out of state prison to save money, they will send you over here, get you a job, make you pay for your care. You would stay there 3 to 6 months. And the people who were staying there were convicted felons. Okay, let's stop
Okay.
pretending that they were convicted felons who were being released. Now, some people say, well, but they were not violent criminals. And for that matter, neither are homeless people. But there is a thing about homeless that we don't like to discuss. Homeless is not a matter of poverty.
That's
Okay?
right.
People think it is. Homeless is a matter of mental health. As a matter of fact, I like when the VA says that they have a 42% of veterans who are
Yep.
voluntarily homeless. What do they mean by voluntary homeless? It's because they get a check and they have health care. But their mental health issues, they cannot live with their families, they cannot live with other human beings, and there's really no facilities for people who have mental health issues to live. So they live homeless. In East Orange, where they're going to be discussing it tonight, you go into the green areas, or what you would call the forest areas, or the areas that are not habited by anybody, and are going to find what I call tent cities with hundreds, if not thousands, of homeless people there. Are
Mhm.
they all poor? No. Are there a percentage that are? Yes. Are there a percentage of people that in certain areas you drive at night and you see people sleeping out of their cars? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. But what have we done all these years? We know the problem is going to go away. It's going to get better. And my grandmother used to tell me, if you have a toothache, either you treat it or it's going to get worse. And the
Right.
problem with homeless is what they're trying to solve tonight is what are we going to do with this? Because it hasn't gone away. It's not getting any better. Soho, to be quite honest, I don't think is much of a solution because if my memory serves me right, the present facility, the most you can put there is 160 people. That might sound like a lot, but for homeless, it's very minimal. It's more of what I like to call the token. Look what I'm doing. I'm not solving the problem, but I am doing something about it. And everybody go, and the real problem still
Yeah.
subsists. So I understand the people so don't want it in their neighborhood. But let me ask you one question. For the
Sure.
last 20 years, it was a work release center where criminals were sleeping there every night and an average of 100 to 120 criminals across the street from the supervisor of election, just for the record, okay? Across the street from the supervisor of election. So the reason I say supervisor of election, because if you know that part of Kelly Street, there's really no residence. You would have to cross
Yeah.
Orange Avenue to enter into what I consider. So is it part of the neighborhood? Definitely. Is it close to the neighborhood? Definitely. Is it in the middle of the neighborhood? No. But the question I ask, what's worse, criminals or homeless?
That's a good point. And Jimmy, there really is no good answer for that. Well, let me
No.
take that back. The answer is there's no neither is worse because the center serves a need for the community, and if the center, the reception center, work release center, was successful, and it sounds like it was. There was no, as I'm aware of, major issues that were known to the public, and therefore having a facility that is available for a shelter to alleviate this problem for the county and the state, you move forward on it. And, granted, I don't live there. However, it is an available facility. It was agreed upon by the two governmental entities, Orlando City and Orange County government. And either we address it or we don't.
I agree, but I'm not trying to say one is worse and one is better. It's
Sure.
not like we're creating a new facility for homeless and this used to be a facility that was used for residents. Well, no, it wasn't not used for residents. This was a school. No, it was not a school.
No.
We're taking over a shopping center and convert. No, we're not. We're
Right.
taking a place that was a work release center that, for the record, is fenced all around. Just for the record. If you
That's
just
great.
go by, it's fenced all around because those people did not have the freedom to go out at night and come back. But they did have the freedom, they would go out to work and come back to that facility, and they would be incarcerated. So it's fenced around and it's secure. So basically, yes, it might be less secure, but in fairness, it is not that you're really doing a substantial change of saying we're creating something completely new. There was no facility here. There was no people staying here. Yes, there was. So what I'm trying to get to everybody, there was. Is one better than the other? I'm not saying, but don't try to pretend that it's in your neighborhood because it's not. And two, don't try to pretend that it's something completely new and that there's never been people living there because they have
Right.
for different reasons, but there have been people living there for the last 20 years. The Work Release Center started in the early 90s there.
Okay. All right.
So just so we know, put it in proper perspective.
Right. I'm not excited about the deal that was made for the county to turn over the facility to Orlando City for $1, and the county will maintain it, and in return, the city will have funding available for the two stadiums, the Kia Center and Camping World Stadium. So it's just like, okay, can use some of those millions of dollars to actually buy land and build a brand new facility or brand new housing for those who are homeless. But what do I know? What do I know?
Well, you're right in one aspect. They
Okay.
probably could have. What the county was doing is that the city have threatened we're going to take so many acres and convert them into city, and then the county would lose that tax income.
Yeah.
So it came out cheaper for them to say, "Hey, I'm going to give you a facility that I haven't been using for years. For the records, in the city limits.
Yes.
Anyway, let me give it to you, and you maintain it, and you have to paint it and do everything else. And fine, I will help you with Camp World, which every time Camp World needs help, the counties always had to come to the rescue. And the same for the Kia Center, they were always so it's not like they're giving some new concession. The truth of the matter is really at this point, and this is the problem that many people have realized: homelessness is not poverty. It isn't. Yes, there are some people who are poor who have lost their jobs, and they're going to be temporary homeless, and then they could get back on their feet. And those people need help, and that's what the coalition of homeless does more than anything else. But you have a large percentage of people
Mm-hmm.
who have mental health issues
Mm-hmm.
who used to be in the early 50s when we say let's make America great again. You used to take them off the street and put them in
That's
facilities, put them in little rooms, let them be abused and mistreated, and let them be castrated and other things that we all know they did to them. Okay,
yeah.
now you have those people on the streets. Some of them are veterans. Let's not pretend it. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of veterans who, because of their mental health issues, are homeless, and they're homeless not because they don't have an income. They have health insurance and they have a check from the VA, and they even have a right to buy houses with a VA secure loan.
Right. That's correct.
But but because they can't register all this, they are homeless. So basically, they prefer to live that. They don't prefer. I shouldn't use that word. I apologize. They they have no other option but to live on. Then you have other people who are not veterans who have mental health issues. Yes, and basically those people are homeless. And then there's a small percentage of what I call the criminals who, because they have are convicted felons, they
Yeah.
can't get jobs because nobody's going to hire them. So basically, they have very little income, so they are homeless. And those criminals, just for you know this is where I've always blown my mind. The coalition of homeless and federal funding, state funding, does not allow you to help people who are convicted felons.
Wow.
Just so everybody knows this. And people say, well, they don't deserve it. Well, yeah, you want to keep them the rest of your life homeless for something they did 25 years ago? Be my guess. So,
Wow.
yes.
And to take this further, Jimmy, as you were talking, and forgive me, I was doing a little bit more research. And are you aware that the city of Orlando is considering using converted Greyhound buses as mobile shelters for the homeless?
Well, it's not the worst idea I've heard.
Hmm.
Uh, I've heard, and this is something that we tend to forget, there was an idea to take all box trucks from the trucks and from the trains and
Right.
convert them into houses too. So buses is not as big as the others, but I suppose if you take out the chairs and they come with a bathroom and you put in some other furniture, you might be able to put a family there. So, is it the best place or the best facility? Well, if you're living in a tent, I think a Grand House bus will be a step up. The problem is right now is that Habitat for Humanity is building for people are who are not homeless,
Yeah.
who are not, and basically there's very little construction in Orange County, much less in the city of Orlando. So there's a shortage of housing in this county, which we don't talk about, but there is. So what other alternatives would the city have? I don't know. I
Hmm.
mean, there's no facilities that the city owns that they can say, we're going to put you in here. They don't.
Right.
And, you know, do you want to take the houses that were abandoned in Orange Blossom Trail for many years and put people in there? I'm not sure. You could, but I'm not sure. So it goes back to what facilities do we have, and it depends how you renew the Greyhound buses. Maybe that's an answer. I hate to say it, for years we don't discuss it, but that's how mobile homes started.
Right. And the city is considering the proposal. This is according to Fox 35. The city of Orlando is considering the proposal to convert two Greyhound buses into mobile shelters. And each bus will accommodate up to 20 people, and the buses will have storage, restrooms, laundry facilities, and of course, beds.
That's going to be interesting. I just would like to see 20 people who do not know each other, who are not family, getting along in a facility. But uh, that's a discussion for another day.
Indeed, indeed. So, I mean, it looks like the city, at least, is trying to look at all their options and do what's best to not only accommodate the homeless population, but also stay within the new laws that Tallahassee has passed to address homelessness in the state.
Yeah, I like the term that you use, address homelessness. I would say wreck homelessness, but or screw it over. But addressing is not one term I would call it. Tallahassee is incapable of doing anything good.
Man, they are on the tear. And that's a good segue into our next conversation. Tallahassee and the governor, Governor DeSantis, and Tallahassee leaders, Republican leaders, passed legislation addressing illegal immigration in the state of Florida. And there was for several weeks competing bills, one by the governor and one by the legislature, addressing a perceived issue with illegal immigration or immigration in general in Florida. And it appears that the Republican parties, the Republicans in charge, have decided on the bill, and that bill is now law. What's your insight on that, Jimmy?
Let me start from the beginning. First of all, thank you, Florida legislator, for wasting your time
Mm.
and doing nothing that is really effective. Have you addressed the issue of the rocketing cost of uh, homeowners insurance? Hell no. No. Have you addressed the issue of car insurance? Hell
No.
no. Have you addressed the issue of the floodings and of the problems of people that got hit by 3 hurricanes? Hell no. Have you addressed the issue of helping education get better? No.
Nope.
Have you addressed the issue of properly funding your state colleges and universities? No. Have you addressed the issue of dealing with people's needs, such as roads, such as better housing, such as better facilities? No. You wasted your time,
Special session.
special session, to come up and kiss Mr. Trump's ass about a problem that we don't have. Do we have a real problem of illegal immigration in this state? No, much different than any of the other 50 states.
Yep.
Do we? Yes, but listen to the way I'm putting this. Not any more severe than any others. No. Okay. Okay. But we need to make it a crime. Is it a crime right now that is something that is really rampant, like rape, murder? Oh, wait a minute. Those crimes are down. We don't
That's
need to
right.
get that.
Crime is down.
Burglaries, they're down.
Mhm.
Okay, so since our crimes are down, let's create new ones because that way we can address it. And is immigration a problem in the state? Not really. Are
Right.
they stealing anything? No. Are they taking away jobs? No.
No.
But what we're trying to do is something that is kind of stupid. Republicans, let me tell you how you fucked up. You run on the issue that immigration is bad. If you solve it or try to solve it and there's still a problem, you're going to look bad. If you solve it, what the fuck are you going to run in 2028? Because there's no immigration issue to run on. So basically, we solved it. Sure. Bingo. Now what are you going to run on? What
Mhm.
fear are you going to put in the American people? Oh, we need to get away the legal immigrants so that way all our problems are going to be solved. Well, we got rid of all the legal immigrants and we still have the same fucking problems. Okay. Second of all, you've made life difficult for the farmers in the state who depend on these people to pick up their fruits, to milk their cows, to pick up the eggs, and to work the fields. They're gone. You have fucked up the construction industry.
Mhm.
Basically, now there's nobody to do roofs. There's nobody to do drywalls. That's gone. So you gave the appearance to the people that you're tough on immigration, but you did nothing. And let me tell you something. Shame on you. You did not work on the people's need, which is the most drastic in the state, and it is homeowners insurance, which you cannot buy because they left and because you've done shit. You've done nothing. Nothing. You want me to give you one solution? I'll give you one solution.
Okay.
Real easy. Real easy. You keep complaining that you have people who go to the places and say, we'll give you a free roof inspection, and then they say they need a new roof. Don't worry, we'll put the claim into the insurance company, and that is jacking up the prices of homeowners insurance, and that is making them leave. Man, that's part of it. And I'm not going to say it's not. Make it simple. Okay, you need a new roof. We're going to send our crew out there. We're going to review, and if we determine that you really do need a new roof, we're going to pay for it. As a matter of fact, right now, most car insurances, if you get into a car accident, you take it to the shop that the insurance company selects. They give you a rental car. So there is a precedent for this.
Cool.
But God forbid that we do that with the roofing. Second thing that you could do is say, hey, instead of a 7% deductible, we'll let you go up to 10. That might bring them back. At the same time, you might require wind mitigation inspections. that might reduce or increase the price of somebody, but at least they will tell me you need to fix this, you need to fix that, and that will bring down the cost. You've done nothing. It's a shame because basically the president of the Speaker of the House is an Hispanic. You're not too smart, kid. You need to get your act together and start solving the problems of the people of Florida. And you haven't. Shame on you.
Wow. Wow, that's heavy. That's a lot, and I agree with you. Your first premise is that was the special session to address uh, the threat of illegal immigration in Florida necessary? And again, you're right. This is something I believe DeSantis manufactured so that he can say, as he builds his resume some more, for a possible run for office of the president in 2028. Um, I That's the only way I can see that's the motivation I see behind DeSantis.
Well,
And
and let me clarify it's not only that.
mhm,
Republicans are very good at bullshit or doing what I call magic. Look here. Look at my hand. There's nothing in my hand. Yeah, the other one has the thing that I'm going to use the magic for, but this is the one I'm going to distract you. It was a distraction. Look, we passed something on immigration. We did something. We haven't fixed any of your other problems. We have not fixed your problems of your roofs. We have not funded properly to fix the cities that Milton and other hurricanes destroyed. We have not funded anything that needs to be funded in education. We have not done anything to in the health area. We have not done any of that. But let me distract you. We have an immigration thing here, and we are passing new immigration laws, which we don't need. But that's the bullshit that we're going to sell you. It's the typical switch and bait. Basically, what they're trying to tell you is they don't do anything uh, in the past 4 years, but we're going to show you that we're strong on immigration. We passed
mhm.
immigration laws that really are not enforceable and that nobody's going to even enforce, but we give you the impression that we're doing this. It's just like every time there's a crime, then you come to Jimmy Smith law that in case this ever happens again, you will go to jail forever. Well, they sound good.
Right.
The truth of the matter is that that is a unique crime that is not going to repeat itself again. Or like 20 years ago, they came up with we're going to give penalties to anybody who kills a cop. Well, the Supreme Court has said, look, you can't just do it that way because if the person felt threatened by the cop and there was a shootout, that's not an intentional murder, so it wouldn't qualify.
There's nuance.
Yeah, so so it is what it is, but they're very good at this. Let me show you what I did about immigration. I didn't do anything about your real problems.
Uh-huh.
I was good in immigration. That is what the House and the Senate of Florida do all the time. And Governor DeSantis, imagine he ended woke in the state. And let me clarify you. I don't know the fuck you're talking about because there was never any woke laws in the state of Florida to
Right.
abolish. But you ended it in Florida.
But he used Disney and teachers and folks in his opposition as his whipping board to drum up this so-called cultural war here in Florida, that we were suffering from woke. And then, like, define what woke is. And he actually ran on woke, whatever that was. And
And to be quite honest, there was no woke laws in the state of Florida that he reversed.
right.
There were no woke laws in Florida that he reversed. And basically, when he said, "Well, I want to check what books are in school," the last time that was done, Mr. Hitler got away with it. So maybe, and DeSantis Hitler also got away with it. So we're good.
And with our access to the internet, those same books that are banned in public schools are available a couple of clicks away. And so even that was exercise in frugality.
Yeah,
It,
but it's
but it
again.
got people riled up.
Let me show you what I've done. I haven't
Yes,
solved your real problems, but I'm going to show you what I've done in areas that weren't even a problem.
right. And the opposition um, failed to capitalize on the fact that what we're saying right now is that this is all manufactured outrage. And the truth is, like you said, Jimmy, the conservatives, Republicans are like, oh, look over here. This is what you should be worried about. And on the other hand, they're doing something completely different, or they're not doing anything at all to let the status quo continue in their favor.
Look, I'm up to now. Let's say I'm going to discuss a little while ago, later what I call the House fuck up of the week. Okay,
Okay.
but immigration is the biggest problem, but it's not. There's no real legislation in the U.S. House or the U.S. Senate submitted by Republicans to address it. Okay, but then you have idiots like speak. Oh God, the head of the Democrat Party in the House,
Oh, Hakeem Jeffries?
Hakeem Jeffries.
Yes. The
Hakeem,
minority leader. Yeah.
Hakeem, grow up here. Do me a favor. You went up in front of a podium and said that you're going to follow the New York Yankee judge as a hitter who selects which balls to hit and which not to hit because you can't strike out. Well, you use the person who strikes out the most than anybody else. The person who in the World Series struck up more than anybody else and only hit 184. You picked the bad example that basically at times he strikes out and does try to go after bad balls, fouls out, and other things. So he's not that smart of what he picks as you're trying to pretend. But with all due respect, this country deserves, Jeffries, a better example than baseball. Look, if you
Mhm.
can't lead this party because you're afraid of hitting the wrong things, get out of the way. Let somebody else. Look,
Thank you.
let AOC do it. Let Bernie Sanders do it. Let
And take the
anybody
heat.
else. But you're an incompetent. You're not a leader. And that example was so moronic
It was.
that I have to call you out as the fuck up of the Democrats of the week.
There we go. There we go.
So
Representative Hakeem Jeffries.
the fuck up of the week.
Hmm.
Baseball analogies, give me a break.
And I
And
love my
Judge,
baseball.
he's not that he's great at hitting home runs, but
Yes.
other than that, he sucks. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I could give you 20 people who are better batters than him, but
That's
he's the
right.
best batter in the. And you're a Yankee fan, and the only team to you that exists are the Yankees, by the way. So no, you Jeffries, you're the fuck up of the Democrats of the week. Sorry.
It, and to take it forward, I've been watching the protests, the manufactured outrage by the Democrats up there on Capitol Hill, and again, it's this. It just seems manufactured, and then everyone packs up for the weekend. They go home, they enjoy their families, and it's all performative. And, and I
It's
remember a time. I remember a time where America in the '60s, in the '70s, they were out in the streets, and I was talking to someone dear and close to me about this. I said, the leadership now, or even the people, the activists, will go up to a certain line and then just back off. And and the person I was speaking with saying, people are going to have enough. They're going to have enough of losing their jobs with the federal government, high egg prices, and so forth and so on. And I said, well, you're not expecting this generation of young leaders, or this, or even the older generation of leaders, because if that was the case, then we would have had people in the streets day one of Trump's um, administration. And I'm just not seeing it. I do. I mean, there have been marches. I saw the 50-51
You,
marches across
you're
the
right,
country.
but who's organizing this? Who's the person behind this? Who's the activist? Uh,
Who's
Anybody
the
from
leader?
the party? No. As a
No,
matter of fact, we live in Florida. Have you heard any of the 67 counties DEC said, let's have a protest? Because the one that we had last Sunday was not the Orange County DEC. It was a group of Democrats who put it together, but it
yep,
was not the Orange County DEC. The state of Florida's DEC has done nothing.
yes, that's
And
right.
then you have people saying, well, we have to learn how to pick our fights, which one we want to get on. Well, yeah, you want to know which fight to get on? I'll give it to you. Bill Maher, in his program last Friday, said, asked if these things were worth it to throw yourself on a sword or die for, or for the leadership of the Democratic Party to take on. And Bill, it sounds like it were kind of weak. Of course, nobody's going to want to die in Vogue. Of course, nobody's going to want to die on defending the government. We know that there's waste in the government, sure,
Sure.
but it's a distraction. You want to know, Bill Moyer? You want to know, Jeffrey, what you can die on the sword for? It's the truth. You want to know the
Yes.
truth? The truth is that food prices are up 1/3%. Truth is that gas is up 4%. The truth is that right now we have farmers suffering because they're not getting their subsidies because that money has been frozen. The truth is that our allies think that we're a joke. Okay?
Mhm.
And if we don't have our allies on our side and something bad happens, the truth is that we're going to be screwed. The truth is that we don't trust each other. And
Mhm.
that is a truth that we need to deal with. The truth is that we are paying too much for products that come from other countries because some idiot said, hey, we're going to put a tariff on this. And this is going to make our life better. It's made our life worse. The truth is that the people are walking away from elections. They don't care, they don't
Yeah.
trust, and the government is not there. The truth is that at the end of the day, we are about to be paying more for everything. And the
Yeah.
truth is that they lie to us every day of the week and we're buying it. They say,
Mhm.
this is what's happening, this is what's happening, and we're buying it. Look, staying and doing nothing is not going to help you. Bill, what do you want to argue over? I'll have that conversation with you, Bill Maher. But saying that everything is okay, no. Look, I understand when people tell me you don't want to fight over the government because the government is bad. Well, yeah, but you want to know the truth of the government? Is that for the last 25 years, the Republicans and the Democrats have not funded properly. They have not had a real budget. All they have is continuing resolutions,
Yeah.
and they have not supervised the government. Either of them. Republicans because they want to run on it. The Democrats because they really don't. They're counting on those government employees to vote for them. So basically, they've done nothing. They're both at fault. That's the truth. Is the government needs some supervision and better functioning?
Efficient.
Definitely. But who's
Yes.
failed it? I'm going to say this: one, Congress; two, even the executive. Does it need better supervision? Yes. Is the solution firing people? Hell no. The solution is going in there and making sure that the people are doing their jobs more
Mhm.
than anything else. The truth is, hey, half of the U.S. government needs new software. And it costs a lot of
Yes.
money, but it hasn't been budgeted because we don't want to waste money. The truth of it is that you have people in the White House lying, saying I'm one of the economic leaders of the White House. And the problem with the bird flu is that during the Biden administration, they were just killing birds. But we have another solution. Heck, to break the news to you, prices are more expensive in the last month than they were ever under Biden. The problem is more
Mm.
severe under you guys than it was ever under Biden. Why? Because you think you could come and bullshit and say there's a solution. So, with all due respect to everybody, Yeah, what you need to die is on the truth. And if somebody's
Yes.
lying, you need to call them out. That's a lie. But the truth of the matter is, Democrats are doing nothing. Bill Maher is saying we have to find an area that we can fight them on. They give it to you every day, Bill. Wake up. They lie. Hey, Bill, we Democrats, we fuck up. We do. But you're still a Democrat because you can't bear the idea of being a Republican because you know they're worse than us. So,
It,
so
mhm.
people, the truth is we need to find a solution to this because just doing nothing is putting in a silver platter that they're right because we never say that they're wrong.
if if I was opposition, one of the first things I would want to do is to get inside the Trump administration and find out what the hell's going on. And instead of barking about Elon Musk being actually the president and the puppeteer, instead of that kind of garbage, I would want to I would have gone to uh, Trump and say, hey, we understand that there could be more efficiency in government. And so let's partner together. If you want to talk about transparency, let us inside the room at the table. We demand that we be at the table with Elon Musk and Doge and see what is happening so that we together, as united force for efficiency, address these so-called, accusations of fraud and government waste and inefficiencies. Let's do it together. Let us be at the table. We demand to be at the table as these things are happening.
Well, yes, they're not going to concede that. And the problem is not
Let
one of
them.
efficiency. Let's clear this. I find it ironic. This is
Okay.
I find it extremely ironic. Let's get rid of all of the immigrants. Take them out of the government. Take them of making our decisions. Take them out of doing whatever we want our government to do, and make sure that they cannot work in our government. The person we put in charge or supervising is an immigrant. But that's another story for another
Yeah.
day. Take away
Hypocrisy.
the elites. They try to tell us how to live our life, and they don't know any better. They don't understand our dynamics. Well, we're putting 24, 25-year-old kids graduating from college who are elites,
Something like
and
this.
and they're the ones who are deciding who to fire. Uh, uh,
Isn't
and,
that something?
and that is the thing. Do they understand what they're doing? Do they understand what is efficient and governed and what is not? Business world works one way, is to make money. Government is to serve the public.
Correct.
So it's a completely different thing. The cost for handling a client in business should not be more than 38 cents. In business, it could be up to $2 because basically you're serving. You're not going to be making money. You're serving. Uh, and the problem that you try to talk about inefficiency in government is my fuck up of the week.
Mm.
Because that's the other one that I find fascinating, that we think it's the government who wastes the money. It's
No,
not really. It's not really. Okay? The government has not created the deficit that we have. That's been Congress.
that's true. You're right. That's Congress.
So the deficit that we have is created by Congress. So
Hmm.
that is the thing. But I find it ironic. Well, we don't want foreigners doing anything in our thing. We want to kick them out of this country, and we don't want them in our government. We don't want to give them any money. We don't want to give them any funding. We don't want to. Oh, wait a minute. We're going to put an immigrant in charge of checking out our government, and we're going to put the elite in charge of checking our government. Common sense is not their way of doing it. They're doing it is mathematical, strictly mathematical. I need to save 10%, so I'm going to fire 10% of the other personnel. If these are people are necessary or not, we don't care. We just fire them. That is a problem. Right
Hmm.
now, one of the things that I find interesting is a pattern that has occurred. They are firing all the cybersecurity people from the government of the United States because they think that should be in a private contract. Think of that one.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about that. However, at the same time, I do know that cybersecurity is one of the most sought after fields of work that is out there. And two, I am sure that those who are well versed in cybersecurity would go where the big money is. And so, if there are private entities, private businesses who are offering more money than government, but not for government contracting, there's a difference. If there are private companies who have contracts with private businesses, but not the government, and are able to offer those big dollars to those who are well versed in cybersecurity, I'm going to go with the big money, most likely. However, if these same companies are offering big dollars to attract those in the cybersecurity field, but these big dollars are attached to government contracts, what the hell? Those folks can stay working with, the government. I'm just very concerned with a lot of data breaches that we've seen with government contractors having access to sensitive information like Social Security benefits and things like that, having data breaches. eh, just keep it with the government. I like to see I like to see the treasury on the blockchain, very transparent. The ledger right there on the blockchain, the outlays and the inlays, if there's a such thing, the income or the revenue versus the expenses. Put it on the blockchain. The blockchain seems to be very reliable, and with our resources as a country, we can keep it very safe. So the devil's in the details, Jimmy, on that one. From
And you're right on that, but this is my problem.
got it.
At the end of the day, the IRS and Treasury collects the money, and that's all they do.
Yeah.
Who spends it are the assholes in Congress. They don't spend it. This is the power. The irony of people when people tell me, on what do they spend it? And I'm going like, excuse me, they don't.
Mm.
The IRS brings in the money,
Yes.
and Congress is the one who spends it.
Appropriates it. Yep.
Okay, so when we're talking about waste in the government, I'm not sure what the fuck people are talking about. IRS and all the agencies bring in money. Okay,
Right.
need the money. Yes, from their budget they spend it, but it's in their budget, approved by Congress. Approved
Yes.
by Congress. Okay, so let's stop pretending that it's them, and that's what I call the distraction. Oh, look at all this waste. There is no waste. Every money that they spend is authorized by Congress.
Approved by Congress. So Congress needs to get their priorities straight.
And that's why we will be going to the fuck up of the week because it's quite clear in what is happening in Congress. So,
Mm-hmm.
with any delay, let's go into the fuck up of the week.
All right, here we go.
President Trump said that they just passed a beautiful tax break law that is going to benefit and help everybody and is going to be the best thing that has happened.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now let's start where it comes from. 2017, there were some tax breaks for the rich and for the middle class, which expire
Yes.
now. So what they're doing is they're going to try to help them with this and say, okay, we're going to create new tax breaks. Okay. The middle class will get a 0.6 to 1% deduction. They will get a refund of approximately $330 to $1,030. That's their refund for the next 5 years. After that, it might go down because if their income comes up, then that 0.6 will be less. If you are in the top middle class and you make less than $1 million a year, but in the six-figure numbers, you will be entitled to a 2.3 deduction. And the top 1% will go from a 2.8 that was approved in 2017 to 3.2, and they will be getting a $80,000 a year tax refund from what they were getting before. Okay, now that will bring up the deficit because the less money you have, the less money you can spend. That will add to the deficit another $2.3 trillion a year. Okay, thank you. You're going to help create the deficits worse. But let me talk to you, people, about the other fuck up. In this bill that's helping all of you, that is the best thing. It's going to be fair to everybody. There were a total of 8 promises made by the president.
Okay.
Okay? 8 promises made by the president in his campaign that are not in this bill. So, when he said that he was going to go back to the auto loan tax deductions, it's not in the bill. When he said no taxes on tips, it's not in the bill.
Oh.
When he said no taxes on overtime, it's not in the bill.
Uh-huh.
When he said that he was going to restore the taxes that you pay in your state income tax so you can deduct it from your federal tax, it's not in the state in this bill. When he said no taxes on Social Security, it's not in the bill.
Ooh.
But what is in the bill that he also promised is a reduction on Medicaid of almost $1 billion. So that will be divided among the 50 states and the colonies, not equally, but it will be divided among them. And it's going to be interesting because the rest states are the ones that depend the most on Medicaid. So, House, you have just passed a bill that's going to fuck the middle class. That everything that you promised to people during the campaign, you're not going to give them to. Those people who are sick and don't have enough money and depend on Medicaid to pay for their medications and their treatment are probably going to be fucked. And for the record, you did this to extend the benefits to the rich. You increased them, but also, if this tax break would have died, the tax break that you gave to the 1% and to the rich would have died too. So stop saying to the people of this country that you're giving this for them. No. This is for the people who rule Donald Trump's government. The people who rule Donald Trump's government are the rich, the powerful, and the 1%. And their only purpose is to fuck the lower class. That's how they make their money. So, with that in mind, House of Representatives, you have the fuck up of the week.
There it is.
You cut taxes, you increased the deficit, and you did not give any of the tax breaks that your president ran on. And you're reducing Medicaid. And for the record, Medicaid provides services for all poor people who are elderly. And the majority of the people who receive Medicaid in this country are children under the age of 18,
right,
whose parents don't have insurance or who have a disability and need treatment, and they cannot get health insurance because their parents cannot afford it. So,
yeah,
all due respect, this, and let me stop the lie. No illegal immigrants receive benefits of Medicaid.
that's right.
So just to stop this, whoa, but we can cut it out. No, there is nobody. This is going to affect everybody. So with all due respect to the House of Representatives, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for increasing the deficit, making the rich richer, and screwing with the poor. Thank you.
Jimmy, what does the opposition have, or what can they do, the opposition in Congress, to stop this proposal? We have the debt ceiling
Oh,
negotiations coming, we have the budget negotiations coming.
I can make that simple for you.
Okay.
Tell the people what's about to happen. Let the
Hmm.
people have know it. Let the people call their Congress. Let them be called out and let them know that they are screwing them. And then when they're talking about the deficit, that they're going to increase for the next 10 years, guaranteed with what they're doing now, a tax a deficit of 2.3 trillion a year. That's without adding that if we fall in the war or if the economy tanks and we need to do other subsidies, that's a guarantee just by what they're doing, just by making the rich are rich. I'm sorry. Call it
Right.
out. Tell the people this. People need to hear the truth. The problem is, I don't want to die in that sword. I don't want to take that swing. I don't want to do. Well, look, if you don't get the hell out of us here and let us Democrats who believe that it's time that the people know the truth be told. I can't believe that people are not understanding this. And realistically, our leadership has not told the people. Look, they can make noise in the House. No, they can make noise in the Senate. Who cares? The people are being told by Donald Trump that this bill is going to help everybody, that this is going to be great. No, it's not. It's going to fuck you people. Donald Trump is lying to you. Tell them that. But do they have the balls? I doubt it.
Wow.
Simple. He's telling them that this is going to be great. And you're going to go and try some procedure in the House floor or in the Senate floor? Who cares? It's not going to help. Tell the people, hey, yeah, you're going to get $330 to $130, but the rich people are going to get $81,000 more a year. You know
And
that he offered you about no tip tax? That's not passing. He said that no tax on Social Security. That's not in there. He told you no taxes on auto that he was going to allow auto loans interest. That's not in there. That he was going to let you deduct your state taxes. That's not in there. Tell them this. Repeat it to them because people think that according to Donald Trump, this is going to be great. And what are we telling them? Nada. Cinch. So grow up here and go to the American public.
you're right. The message has to be very simple and effective, of course, in a way that that just steals the thunder from this administration if the opposition wants to be successful. And I like what you said, Jimmy. Let the American people say, "Hey, you're not going to get the no tax on tips, no taxes on your overtime, no taxes on your Medicare, and so forth and so on. Uh, Social
Social
Security,
Security income, you're not going to get that.
right?
Yeah, and whatever you pay in the state one, you're not going to be able to deduct
Right.
in your federal ones. You're not going to get the auto loan installment loan interest. You're not going to get that.
And
That
Jimmy, and throughout this whole conversation, not once have we been able to identify a true leader of the opposition who can carry this message to America.
strangely, we're the only two that I know of. To be quite blunt, we're the only two. Most people are trying to talk about the federal jobs, that he's firing people, that they're necessary people. Blah, blah, blah. Look, that's a fight that needs to be taken. But to take Bill Morrow's analogy, it's not the sword we need to die on. We need to die on saying, hey, what they're telling you is a great legislation is a lie. What
Yeah,
they're telling you is going to solve all your tax problem is a lie.
sure.
And the truth is, all these things that they promise you, none of them are in the bill. None of them. And for the record, people who benefit most from these tax breaks are the 1% and the people who make more than $500,000 a year. The rest of you, $300 a year is not going to make or break you. It's really not going to make or break you. I'm
Okay.
sorry, it's not. I mean, no. Especially when you have a increase in food prices, and egg prices, and gas prices, and rent prices, and it's not going to help you. So
Right.
people, they are lying to you, and that's why I started from the beginning. The truth will set you free. Tell the people the truth that these people are lying to them.
In a way, the Trump victory in November 2024 was more than just a victory for the Trump administration. It was a victory over the opposition in more ways than I think people could imagine. Whether it's by the hands of, you know, their own hands, the Democrats' own hands, or by the effectiveness of conservatives and Republicans and getting their message across and getting things done. Um, there really is no opposition that has been effective enough to at least have Trump and his people pause. And I'm not talking about a judge, making a decision, but the opposition, someone in the opposition who's been very clear and consistent to cause the president to pause and say, okay, we've got a challenge here. We have to tread lightly.
I'm going to have to cut it now because I have my wife in the door. So we will do this next week. Take care, everybody.
Okay, Jimmy, thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everyone, that was. I can't remember. There's so many different shows. But that was, of course, From the Margins with James Lafon and yours truly, David Washington. Thank you for tuning in again. We really appreciate you tuning in and being the part of our community, Ubuntu. And please, again, let us know what you think. We love to hear what you have to say. We love to engage with you. I know Jimmy and I, we talk about the comments. We respond to the comments, and we enjoy the tactful and respectful conversation that we have with you, our community. So again, please, like this comment and share this comment with people that you believe who could benefit from our conversations and who would want to be a part of this conversation. Whether family, friends, those influencers in the community that you know, those candidates, or even the electeds that you think would get something out of this, positive or negative. Let's have that conversation. Hit the notification button, and don't forget the other Jay in Washington podcasts. We have Gateway Advantage with Ted Bogert and David Washington, yours truly. We also have our flagship podcast, formerly known as, you can't make this shit up, now known as Ground Zero Florida. Yes, Ground Zero Florida. Check that out. And then, of course, we have the David Washington Show. I got a good one coming up in regards to the Republicans and the Democrats. And also, my personal favorite is like my campaign diary. It's called Countertop Politics. And I'm the host of that program every Monday. 5 minutes or thereof of campaign insight, political innuendo, and of course the secret sauce. And we got it. We have the secret sauce to winning campaign strategies. I'm David Washington. Again, this is From the Margins with Jimmy Alfon and David Washington. We'll see you the next time. Peace. We love you. God bless. All right. We're out of here. I love this. I love doing this. I really do. Does it come out across it? If I love doing this, it pays the bills, and I get to stay relevant. I like being relevant, even just a little bit. But I love doing this work, and I hope it comes through to you. And Ubuntu, please continue to be a part of what makes us special here. We'll see you next time. God bless.